What is up, YouTube? I'm DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance Crew, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. Today I'm going to be getting into another epic rap battle. This is Michael Jackson versus Elvis Presley. Now, I have seen this in the past. This is probably one of the first videos that actually introduced me to epic rap battle. But I will go ahead and watch it again, and then I will analyze all the lyrics, because I do notice that there's some stuff that people tend to miss. So if you have actually seen this, but maybe something might have gone over your head, or if this is your first time seeing it, in which case you need to go watch the original at the original channel. Link is in the description box down below. Then you can go ahead and, I'm sorry, that's just my southern drawl. If you haven't seen this, go watch the original and come back, and I will go ahead and enlighten you on some stuff that you might have missed. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, for some odd reason, this video was made by Epic Rap Battle, or ERB as their channel is called. I will have a link to their channel at the end of this video. You can click on it and it'll be inside the video. So the last 30 seconds, just click on it. It'll take you directly to their channel, and you can watch all of their other epic rap battles in their entirety without me talking, pausing, or whatever else. So let's go ahead and get into this, and let's see if it still holds up. I love that line when I first heard it. Going nuts. Oof. Probably the hardest line, or not hardest, but toughest. Oof. God damn, man. Ah. Oh man. When you met your own wife when she was only 14, and you made $1, she came to me. I took her to my Neverland ranch to you shouldn't have heed. You're going too hard with the hee.
You're a creeper, dude. You like to grab your own winger. I don't let you marry my daughter because I knew you'd never bang her. You think you're tough? Man, you look like Tootie. I was badder than you in my Blue Hawaii movie. You lost your damn mom as well as cast in the whiz. You're like a sad white woman who never got to be a kid. I'm out before you try to hold me and free your willy. Later, weirdo. Elvis is leaving the building.
Cold War! Posters! Unify!
Did he just throw a hee-hee in there somewhere? Did I just hear a hee-hee? Yeah, first of all, let me go ahead and give my my analysis of who I think won. Now, this one is tough because both periods, they kind of go at different rates. Like the first exchange between the two was fucking epic. Both of them had amazing bars. I do think that Elvis might have hit a little bit harder with some of the stuff he said, but I love Little Michael's flow and just the way he rapped better. So again, it depends on what you're looking for. When I analyze rap battles, I'm looking at barbs. I'm looking at lines that cut the deepest and would more than likely give the person that what Kevin Hart said, the I eat ass face, was like, yeah, like I said, the first verse, the first time I heard it, I said Michael won, hands down. Michael won. After watching it again, I don't know, I might have to give it to Elvis. He, like I said, Michael has some great lines in it, but Elvis is kind of hit harder. Like, I'm gonna go back a little bit and try to see if I can Yeah, so Michael, he made a reference about about Elvis Presley stealing rock and roll, which in a way he kind of did. It was I don't think it was Elvis's intention to do that. He just happened to be the right person at the right time for certain music executives. Back then they were looking for black sound, but they didn't want to present a black face behind it. So Elvis was a fan of black culture, a fan of black music, and he just grew up making the music that he enjoyed. Now, the fact that he was white kind of gave him an advantage when it came to other acts, because this is something that music executives at the time felt like, okay, well, he has the sound, but he also has the face that we can present. So they kind of chose him as the poster boy for music at the time because, like I said, he had the black sound, but didn't have to worry about alienating audiences, or at least that's what music executives thought at the time. So yeah, that was a little nice barb. You dance like an epileptic, nothing but left feet. Obviously, that's a reference to his what was it, hip gyrations and things like that. In other words, he's also trying to say he can't really dance. Now, don't get me wrong. Michael, to me, is the better dancer, hands down. I know there's a lot of Elvis fans out there. Michael Jackson whoops Elvis's ass when it comes to dancing up and down the dance floor, almost like a moonwalk. But either way, yeah, Elvis can't hold a candle to Michael when it comes to dancing. Every record you set, I beat it. Now, obviously, that's a song reference, but at the same time, it also goes into a lot of records that Elvis actually held that Michael, I'm not sure if he beat Elvis's records, but Michael just beat a lot of music records. I think he's the most awarded artist of all time. He has the highest selling album of all time. He is the biggest earner as far as dead celebrities of all time. I think that's probably the record more so that he's claiming to beat Elvis in, because I believe Elvis was the number one dead artist as far as like earnings. But when Michael died, Michael destroyed all other earnings to the point where I believe that like Michael earns more than like the next 5 music artists combined on the dead charts, to the point where even some of his music is like recharting. I believe Thriller is actually on the Billboard 100 list again. Oh yeah, obviously a reference to Elvis dying on the toilet. I never really bothered to look too deep into it, so I don't know exactly the extent of whether he literally died on the toilet, or if he was in the bathroom, or how they found him, or anything like that. So I have to look more into that, because I don't know. It's an embarrassing way to die, of course, but I mean, you can't really choose when you want to go, so I'm not going to really hold that against him, I guess. Hunks of Burning Love, obviously, song reference. I'm bad, I'm a smooth criminal. I don't necessarily like those lines, because it seems just like he's throwing out song titles. I feel like they could have done something as far as like wrapping some type of reference around it. But yeah, it just sounds like he's just throwing out lines. Call me Ed Sullivan, shoot you from the waist up. Now, this was a line that when I first heard it, I damn near fell out of my chair. It was great wordplay. It's great imagery, and it also has 2 meanings. So I love, that's what I love about rap. As far as the raps that I actually enjoy, because a lot of rap I think has gotten to the point where I don't really have anything to say about it. But when he made reference to Ed Sullivan, shoot you from the waist up, obviously it's a reference to gunplay, but at the same time it's also a reference to Elvis Presley's, I believe it was his first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, where they intentionally shot all of his dancing and angles from the waist up. They wouldn't show his full body or anything below his waist, because Elvis was known for his hip gyrations, and at the time that was considered too sensual and too corrupting for the youth at the time. So they went out of their way to make sure they didn't show him moving his hips or anything like that. So the whole shoot you from the waist up is obviously a reference to that. Kind of like me. I do hip gyrations the entire time I'm reacting, but y'all just don't know it. Always have to be shot from the waist up. It's too sexual. Can't handle it. Well, let me see. Watch me walk while I step on your blue suede. Obviously, that's a reference to one of Elvis's songs, but also disrespecting the hell out of him with not only his own dance step, or Michael's own dance step, but he's also messing up he's using his trademark to ruin one of Elvis's trademarks. I love it. I love the reference. Even in death, I go platinum on Blu-ray. Obviously, that's a reference to the This Is It concert video. And I believe that being I believe it's the biggest music documentary of all time. I could be wrong, but I think it is. Spitting out hits since I was 6 years old. I'm the king of pop, you the king of Jelly Roll. Obviously, that's a reference to Michael Jackson's longevity in music, in his music career. Michael Jackson started actually doing like professional music back when he was 6 years old. I believe he was signed to a record label called Steel Town Records before he went to Motown. That was back when the Jackson 5 were like just starting out. I believe they won like a talent show and got signed by a local record label. So yeah, Michael Jackson had been making actual music since he was 6 years old. I may have died on the crapper, but I don't give a crap. You ain't got half the badass battle raps that I have. Okay, that one is just kind of like dismissing the line about him dying on the toilet. So didn't really do a lot of wordplay or anything, so I'm not going to give any points for that. I got 1 for your monkey, 2 for your clothes, 3 for your family, and 4 for your nose. Now that's a tough one. It's playing on Elvis's song. I forgot the song itself that it's referencing, but everybody should know Elvis's. You know the one I'm talking about, though. Also, he's playing into all of the eccentric things that are related to Michael Jackson. The Bubbles the Chimp, his wardrobe, which a lot of times I think Michael Jackson looks badass, especially during the bad era. I think that was his best era. His family, obviously, for a lot of reasons. His crazy-ass dad. His sister, who, well, one is a pop sensation. One is normal. And the other's LaToya. Now, to be fair, LaToya is cool. She had a period where she was kind of wilding, but that was more so because of her husband. She's already come out and said that she was abused, and he made her say a lot of things that she did not want to say, but she was afraid that he would hurt her or people in her family. I would suggest y'all go and read up on Jack Gordon. But yeah, anybody that thinks that LaToya hasn't changed. And just a quick reference, I'm just going to say this just to get out of the way. There's people that say Michael Jackson was a monster and a pedophile and this, that, and the other, and they use clips that LaToya made back in the early 90s as proof of this, because back then she was saying that Michael was doing stuff. Now, the ironic thing about this is that they'll tell you that the Michael Jackson fans are going out of their way to dismiss victims of sexual abuse or to discredit them or whatever else. The ironic thing is the same people that pull out LaToya's clips from the early 90s, whenever you correct them and show them clips that LaToya later released saying that she only said it because she was abused by her husband and he forced her to say that stuff, and she has since, completely did a 180 on all that. The ironic thing is the people that pulled out her earlier clips and were calling you pedophile apologist and all this other stuff and dismissing child sexual abuse victims, they will dismiss her claim about her later being abused, going, oh no, she wasn't really abused, she just got paid off by the family or something like. And it's funny, like, okay, so y'all are sitting here talking about us about supposedly dismissing child sexual abuse victims or abuse victims in general, but you're doing the exact same thing because it doesn't fit your narrative. I just wanted to get that out of the way because that was something that kind of got to me for a long time. You better, sir. Talking about them ABCs. All you want to do is teach kids the birds and the bees. Obviously, that's a reference to the Michael Jackson child molestation rumors. Or allegations, I should say, not rumors. And obviously a reference to his hit song when he was younger, ABC. This is a big time jackal, no dress rehearsal. I light you up like your hair in a Pepsi commercial. Now that's tough. This is when Elvis started hitting with like a series of hard blows, and oh man, the birds and the bees line, this line, and the next line, all of them consecutively together would be a knockout in my opinion, because they're so damn hard. Obviously the Pepsi reference was related to him, Michael Jackson, having severe burns on his head from a pyrotechnic accident that happened during the Pepsi commercial. Honestly, I believe it's something that eventually led to his death, because that's what got him on the path to painkillers and, drugs in a way. But it's not necessarily like drugs, though. It's not the hard stuff we usually know. And maybe that's the issue. We keep on trying to put some type of asterisk on these types of drugs. Like, oh, well, it's not as bad as the other stuff. We need to start treating it like it's as bad as the other stuff, because last I checked, it can still kill you. We've lost a lot of people to over-the-counter drugs and prescription drugs. So we need to start treating those the way they should be treated. But, obviously the Pepsi reference. You're angry, but I can't comprehend it. I stole from black culture. Why are you offended? That's tough. That's a tough one. Personally, I know that Michael Jackson never turned his back on black people, but the problem is there's a lot of people that think he did. So this line would have a lot of punch to it when people like that listen to it. Now, if you look deep into Michael Jackson, you know that he always prided himself on black culture. Matter of fact, I actually watched a video that made a lot of sense. The whiter his skin got, the blacker his music got. Because at first he was doing all the pop hits and everything else, but then later on he started doing more conscious music. And Remember the Time was filmed with an all-black cast, and They Don't Care About Us, and just a ton of stuff that he did that made reference to struggles in the black community in particular, but also in many different other communities. He has a song called I believe it's called We've Had Enough. It's a song that was released on his Ultimate Collection. It was like a unreleased song that they threw on there as like bonus, and that song goes very hard as far as like social consciousness. If you haven't heard it, I would suggest you go check it out. But it's still a hard line though. That's the problem. So like I said, watching this again, I gotta give it to Elvis. I don't like. I had Michael winning that for so long, and I have to give it to Elvis. And then he said the other line, your dad beat gold records out of you like alchemy. Now that is tough. I don't know what to do with it. I don't. Oh man, God damn it. Oh boy. Usually in epic rap battles, they have this thing where the very end, like the last line of the video, tends to be the toughest. But for some reason, Elvis went hard in his first verse, and it really shows because his second verse was not good. And the same can be said for Michael. The second exchange was garbage. I didn't like either of them. The first verse was so hard, and it just like fizzled out so quickly. I would love to see Epic Rap Battle go back and redo this, because their work has dramatically changed since they've made these videos. Like their new stuff is like goes a lot harder, and I just wish that there was more to it. I'd like to see a Michael Jackson versus Prince one, and maybe a Elvis versus the Beatles. Don't make me spank you and dangle your ass over a balcony. Now, obviously, that's a reference to Michael Jackson back in, I believe, 2003 when he held his son Prince Michael Jackson II, or as his nickname goes, Blanket. He held him over a balcony to. At the time, he said he was doing it to show the fans like the new baby, but that was not a good judgment call. That was an extremely stupid act. So much could have gone bad so quickly. Even if the possibility of, like, let's say he did drop the kid, and I'm sure the fans would try to catch it, do you think the fans would give the baby back? I mean, so there's some fans out there that will, but Michael Jackson has some crazy fans. Michael did eventually end up apologizing for it, but I mean, it was still a bad judgment at that time. So I will give Elvis the point for that as well. That Elvis, to me, Elvis just had more points. About time for a Thriller. Didn't lose any chocolate. I just added vanilla. That's funny. That's more of a defense line. In rap battles, I don't necessarily enjoy defense lines. It's kind of like in a debate. When you're debating somebody and y'all are going back and forth and making cases for yourself, it's never a good thing when you have to go back and explain yourself during your time, because you only have a limited amount of time to get your point across. So if you have to go and backtrack and address something that you want to correct, that can be detrimental. Some people actually, when they're debating, do that as a tactic. They will say certain things because they know that you'll have to come back and defend it at some point, so it gives you less time to actually attack their points. So yeah, I don't do defense lines. I'm going off the wall. I won't stop till I get enough. Now, again, these are just throwaway lines that are trying to get as many song references in as possible. I don't care about those. Whoop you a big fat ass with my shiny glove. That's more of a setup line. That shouldn't have been the punch line. There should have been something that built up to something eventually. Yeah. How you gonna talk about the birds and bees when you met your own wife when she was only 14? This is probably one of the few barbs that Michael threw in his second verse. Now, this is obviously 100% true. People will have to end up looking into it, like, oh shit, and then do a Google. This one, what I call a Google search line. You have to be like, whoa, for real? And you go check it out. I'm like, oh damn. But yeah, that's 100% true. You made one daughter. She came to me. I took her to my Leverland Ranch to hee hee. I know I said that so serious, and it just completely destroyed the entire context and feeling of that line. But oh man. You know how people give shit for to white people because they go, oh, well, they don't have rhythm or whatever the stereotypes happen to be. Well, for one of the few times you could say a black person just did that, because that's exactly what I just did. So go ahead and have your fun with it. Now's your chance to make fun of a black person's rhythm or sense of rhythm, I guess. Now, based on the line, I mean, I don't want to defend it. I'm just going based off of stuff that was actually like true and things like that. Lisa Marie Presley did say that they had sex. Now, this is gossip news. I don't know why y'all give a damn, but this is just something that I was saying. Even though that is true, I will still give Elvis the line when he attacked this line, because, like I said, despite the fact that I know that she said that something did happen, and Michael said something did happen, the problem is there's a lot of people out there that think nothing happened. So when Elvis attacks him on that, he will probably get a lot more people on the side going, damn, that's right. So I still got to give him the point for it, because the crowd would probably be on his side on that one, despite the fact that it's more than likely wrong. Should have stayed in the Army, dude. I mean, I don't really know where to go with that one. Elvis did go in the Army, which, I mean, I gotta give him points. There are many celebrities that flat out dodged the draft or went out of their way to dodge the draft, like John Wayne, Donald Trump. Those are the only two that I know that were draft dodgers. I'm sure there's a lot of other ones I'd have to look up, but whatever. Even Tito looks better than you. All right, we're gonna have to stop attacking Tito. Goddamn it, we're gonna have to put a line on it right now. Stop attacking Tito. Tito is probably the fourth most successful Jackson in the group, behind Michael, Janet, and Jermaine. So give Tito his goddamn respect. The dude has a derby line that is doing gangbusters, and he's probably the most musically talented person in the group, behind maybe Michael and Janet. Even then, you could probably say he's above them, because a lot of people have like this debate about who's better between Michael Jackson and Prince, and they say that a lot of people say Prince is better because he is more of a musician, the way he's able to play just about any instrument, and he does everything by himself and this, that, and the other. Tito is almost the exact same mold. He's not at the level of Prince, but he's the exact same. He plays all of his own instruments. He does all of his own music. Like, the dude is probably one of the most musically talented. He was the person that did end up leading to the Jackson 5 being discovered, because his dad, discovered that Tito was playing his guitar, and that was what led to this entire journey. So, goddamn it, give Tito respect. I said, goddamn, give him some respect. I'm singing you're singing Don't Be Cruel. Yeah, this is just it's a nice line, but it doesn't add anything. You're a creeper dude, you like to grab your own winger. A lot of people grab their own wingers. That's not really, yeah. Like I said, I could be grabbing it right now, but because of the whole shot from the waist up, y'all wouldn't know it. I'll only let you marry my daughter because I knew you never bang her. Okay, like I said, that's a line I'll give him to him. You think you're tough, but you look like Tootie. Yeah. It seems like he just said that so he could rhyme it with Blue Hawaii movie. Because Michael doesn't look like Tootie at all. This would be more of a line for, like, Janet. You can make a reference to, like, her Good Times Penny role. I don't... But like I said, the Blue Hawaii movie thing is just a reference. Just a name drop. I don't really care about it, to tell the truth. You lost your mind when they cast you in The Wiz. If you want to say that Michael Jackson mentally lost his mind or something, even if you want to say that, I would not put it with The Wiz. I'd say he started to get eccentric after Thriller. His popularity fucking exploded. He kind of started to shelter himself. He bought Neverland and pretty much became a prisoner of his own house and fan base in a way. Like a sad white woman that never got to be a kid. I mean, besides the white woman reference, it sounds almost like he'd be defending him. That just doesn't seem okay. I'm out before you try to hold me and free your willy. Now that is obviously a reference again to sexual abuse allegations, but at the same time is also a reference to well, Michael wasn't in Free Willy, but his song Will You Be There is probably the most popular song from that movie, which is one of my favorite songs. The intro is long as hell, but it's a great song. Later, weirdo, Elvis is leaving the building. Now, obviously, an iconic Elvis outro. So that was good. I'm probably not going to give it a point, but it's good. Now, as far as who won the second verse, me personally, I'll give it to Michael, because I guess it depends on which side of the fence you fall on as far as believing Michael actually had sex with Lisa Marie Presley. If you believe he did, then Michael won. If you believe he didn't, then Elvis won. Because that was the only real line in the entire damn thing. So I'd probably have to give this victory to Elvis, personally. Now, I know there's a lot of people in the comment section that probably give me shit for it. Don't get me wrong. I still think Michael is the better musician. I still think Michael's the better entertainer. But, yeah, I got to give Elvis the win on this one. Anyway, that's it. I know I've spoken way too damn long. For those of you that stuck around, hopefully I've earned a like at this point. You can go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I have many other videos that will be coming out. And like I said, if you want to see the original, you can click the link in the description box. Or you can go straight to their channel, which would be at the end of this video, that you can click on and like the video, subscribe, and the other good stuff. Either way, that's all I have to say. I'm DaVinci. You've just been a little bit more enlightened. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Deuces.